Hi, everyone. Good evening, wherever you are in Italy, Spain, or France, and welcome to tonight's 10 to 13 focus, which is with myself, Danielle. I'm one of the teachers from Maies Meravigli in Milan. And also we have Sean with us. Sean, did you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Sean. I also work in Milano Meravigli and I'm from Ireland.
And I should say that I'm from Australia. So you've got two very different English-speaking accents
Mm.
to hear today. Okay, so let's get started. Today's focus is called Food for Thought. So it's all about different types of, well, it's all about food and cooking in general, but it's in relation to idioms and expressions related to food and cooking. But let's just start with this first one, food for thought. So this itself is a saying. Does anyone know what it's called? I see we've got some people watching. We're going up to double digits. So let us know. And on that note, guys, make it as interactive as possible. So please send us your comments, questions, tell us who you are, where you're from, and we can share them on the screen.
Mm. We have a Valentina from Napoli. Hi, Valentina.
Hi, Valentina. Valentina or anyone else? Do you know what it means?
Martina from Milan. Mary from Naples. Adriana from Naples. Lots from Naples.
Lots from Naples and an all-female affair at the moment.
Yeah.
All girls. Okay. Well, food for thought, I can tell you. Or Sean, do you want to share or do you want me to?
Oh, sure, I can. Food for thought is an idiom, which is a phrase which we use commonly in English, where it's a phrase where the literal meaning of the words is not quite the way we use the phrase. Food for thought, I would say something that makes you think, something that inspires a bigger conversation. Any other way to define it?
I don't know about all of our listeners and watchers at home, but yeah, I certainly agree. It's something that is worth seriously considering. That's how I think about it.
Hmm. Books, for example.
Yeah.
Yes, a way to feed thinking. Yeah, exactly. Food for thought.
Okay, guys. So specifically, here's the outline for today. So learning some common food idioms, guessing the meaning of some expressions, and also practicing those expressions. So we're hoping that you guys can send us some of the things that you would say in class if we were doing this face to face. Let's start with this though. Sean, what is your favorite recipe? Do you have a favorite recipe?
That's a tough
Yeah,
question.
it is.
I myself am not such a great cook, but my father used to prepare very, very nice mushroom soup.
Hmm.
And he gave me the recipe. I tried it and it was not as good, but
Okay.
I think still my favorite recipe. How about you?
Do I have a favorite recipe? That's a good question. I quite like Asian food, and I make
Oh,
quite good pad thai. So pad thai
wow.
is one of my favorite recipes. Valentina's got a reply here for her favorite recipe.
Hmm.
Um, how do we say that, Valentina? Um, you've got made home pizza. We say it slightly differently. We say it's the other way. So we say homemade pizza.
Exactly.
So homemade. Okay, let's go on, guys. Okay, so in English, there are many expressions and colloquialisms relating to food. This word here, colloquialisms, oh, what an awful word. It's not very common, so don't worry about it. But it's colloquial expressions, right? Okay. And here are some examples. So number one, that exam was a piece of cake. I'm 99% sure I aced it. And number two, no thanks. I don't think I'll come with you to the cinema. Romantic comedies aren't my cup of tea. Okay. Let's look at this first one. Does anyone know what it means? What the underlined expression means? Hi, Alice, or Alice, should I say. We've got Alice from Turin that's joined us. Thanks very much. Yeah, Adriana's got the answer.
Easy, yeah.
Yeah. If something's a piece of cake, it's really easy. Yep, Clara's got it as well. And Gianpaolo, very good. What does it mean to ace something? So the last two words of that sentence. I'm 99% sure I aced it. What does that mean? If you ace something, does anyone know? It means you did very, very well. Okay? It's like saying you got the best mark possible. So in an exam, yeah, you get 99% or you get 100%, okay? You get the top mark possible, you ace it.
Just still on piece of cake, we have an interesting comment from Mary. Piece of cake can be used as a compliment too, like when someone is good looking. For me, no, I don't think so.
No.
What do you think, Danielle? No.
No, I haven't heard it used like that, and I wouldn't use it like that.
No, because
As
it
a
could be taken
suggestion.
the wrong way.
Yeah, maybe there's another, Mary. Maybe there's another expression, a similar expression you're thinking about. I can't think what it would be, but if I do, I will let you know. I can't think of any food idioms that relate to someone being attractive, but maybe there are some out there. Okay, so number two, romantic comedies aren't my cup of tea. I think a few people have got this one correct. I think we've got Valentina, yeah, and Clara as well. Maybe Daniela Vellini, yeah. So in the positive, if something is your cup of tea, it's something you like, something you enjoy generally. If it's not your cup of tea, you think, I'd prefer not to. It's not your favorite thing to do. Okay. Can you think of any others that you've heard? Any other idioms in English relating to food? Later in the focus, we have others that we discuss, but right now, at the very beginning, it would be great if you can let us know the ones that you already know so we can discuss them and share them with the others. While we're waiting, let's talk about the next one. Why do you think there are so many food idioms? I don't know. Because there are certainly a lot in English, and I'm guessing there's a lot in Italian and in other languages as well. Sean, do you have any ideas?
Well, I think maybe food is something that we all have in common. We all eat, so we can communicate, understand each other by referencing things that we're all familiar with, maybe like food or the weather, things like that.
Yeah, I agree. It's sort of things that are universal. So everyone can understand them. Valentina has a great example. As cool as a cucumber.
Yeah.
I'm curious where you've heard that, Valentina. Maybe in a movie or in a book. This was cool as a cucumber. Do you know what it means? Yeah, you're right, Valentina. You're asking if you're right. You're definitely right. What does it mean? Does anyone want to explain? In the meantime, if you have another example of a food expression, let us know. Send it to us. Got another example here from Clara. Yeah, to go bananas. Okay, great. It's right. We've got some good examples. So, as cool as a cucumber, that means when you, in a very heated situation, in a very difficult or stressful situation, you keep your calm. All right. You don't get agitated. You don't get stressed. You think very rationally and you don't lose your temper. All right. In that situation, you're as cool as a cucumber.
Yeah.
Relaxed. Yeah.
Mm.
Perfect.
Calm.
And the next one, to go bananas. That's a good example as well, Clara.
Kind of the opposite of cool as a cucumber, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. To go bananas is when you when you go crazy. Okay, you're really angry or hysterical about something, right? But I think it can also be used in a good sense. So, for example, kids go bananas for the ice cream truck. All right, when the ice cream truck comes around, kids go bananas. It means they really, really want something and they get really, really excited for something. All right. There's another one here from Gianpaolo. We're talking about nuts. I can't think of that one. Do you know one that's like that, Sean?
Well, there's certainly a lot to do with nuts. So if someone is nutty or someone is a bit of a nutcase, we use that a lot, I think.
And
Maybe
what does it
it's
mean?
similar. Like bananas, going crazy. To be a nutcase is to be a crazy person. To go nuts is to go crazy. Yeah, to go nuts is the same as to go bananas, I think.
Okay. Gianpaolo, when we talk about numbers, I'm not too sure about that. I'll have a think and we can come back to it. I'm not sure I quite understand. Unless you understand, Sean. Do you understand?
Oh, talking about small numbers. I mean, maybe it's a kind of a technical phrase because almost usually a profession has its own way of talking about things. So maybe in mathematics they talk about very small amounts as nuts. I'm not sure.
Yeah, no,
For
I'm
me,
not
I'm
sure.
not familiar with it anyway.
No, neither am I. Maybe we'll check afterwards, Gianpaolo, and maybe you've taught us something.
Yeah,
All
maybe we
right.
can learn today.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so now we have some keywords that are part of an idiom, and you guys have to guess what the idiom or expression is. Okay, so the first one, you know, you've already seen it, a cup of tea. Not my cup of tea. How about the next one? Well, we've got four. Cry and milk together. Spill and beans. Apple and I. Nut and crack. Okay. First of all,
Another one with nut.
yeah, that's true. First of all, if there are any words in here that you don't know, you don't understand, let us know. I'm wondering maybe crack. I'm wondering if everyone understands the word crack. So crack can mean different things, but you can, for example, it's generally when you break something. All right, you use it to describe that action when some things break. So, for example, an egg with the shell on the outside, you crack it. Right, you bang the egg against a plate, and the egg cracks. Okay. And also nuts. So nuts, the nuts with a hard shell, you need to crack them, you break them to eat the inside. Okay. Um,
Valentina has the first one, I think.
yep. Well done. Don't cry. Oh gosh, why do they show all of
Oh,
them?
they all came.
All right, so we'll keep. Sorry, guys. We'll let's discuss all of them, and then I'll bring them back up. Yes, you're right, Valentina. Don't cry over spilt milk.
And the second one we also have Gianpaolo
Yeah,
to
exactly.
spill the beans, yeah,
Perfect.
to reveal a secret.
Okay, and the next one, Apple and I. Yeah, Valentina's got it as well. Lots of you guys know these. Fantastic.
Mm.
Apple and I. Does anyone know that one? Or the last one?
Would you use all of these idioms, Danielle?
No, no, I don't think I generally don't use idioms, I don't think.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
but certainly the third one I don't use. I think the third one's a bit old fashioned. I think
Mm.
Valentina has it and Gianpaolo. Well done. Yeah, Valentina, you're laughing. Yeah, it's correct.
Yeah.
And then the final one, the final one. Mm, no, okay, I'll show it because I'm not too sure if I'm not sure if anyone would get the final one. All right. So the first one, to cry over spilt milk, to spill the beans, the apple of someone's eye, and a tough nut to crack. All right. Okay, let's go on because in the next slide, you have to guess the meanings. Okay. So, Sean, do you want to read these out for us?
Sure. Number one, the little girl is the apple of her father's eye. Number two, he's a bad egg, so you should avoid him if you can. Number three, he spends the whole day in front of the TV. He's a real couch potato. Four, what's done is done. There's no use crying over spilt milk. Number five, she won't want to come to the cinema with us. Horror films aren't her cup of tea. And number six, many people were egged on at the football match.
Right. Okay. So the first one, apple of someone's eye. What do you think that means?
Mhm.
Does anyone know what that means? To be the apple of someone's eye.
Daniela has a suggestion which is not correct. She thinks you don't see, which no, it's maybe
Yeah.
the opposite.
Yeah, it means something else. Okay. And Valentina's saying, so in Italy we say the light of my eyes. Okay. So what does that mean? What does that expression mean? hmm Yeah,
Mm,
I think these are all right.
the favorite, yeah.
Yeah.
Someone who's
So
precious. Very good.
yeah, I think Martinez is perfect. It's the most important person in your life, and
Mm.
you cherish them sort of beyond everyone else. Okay. What about number two? He's a bad egg. Someone who's a bad egg. Do you know any bad eggs, Sean?
No, I wouldn't say so. I
No.
mean, not closely anyway, but
No, neither do
there,
I. I've
there are some out there anyway.
yeah, there are definitely some out there. Some bad eggs. Mm. You can also say the opposite. Have you heard of someone being a
Mm.
good egg?
Yeah, of
Sure.
course,
Mhm.
exactly.
So you
It's
can
the
say a good egg
opposite.
or a bad egg.
Yeah, I think they have a
Yeah.
nasty person,
Mhm.
a bad person, yeah.
Yeah. Or just someone who's not, how do I say this diplomatically? Yeah, maybe someone who's not trustful. The idea or the image is that the egg that the person came from, the egg inside,
Mm.
like inside the woman, was bad. So the
Yeah.
idea is that from inception, from the very beginning, they weren't a good person, or they weren't very good at something. Right?
Yeah, it's kind of fundamentally bad, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah,
fundamentally.
yeah. So the opposite, a good egg. If someone says, "Oh, you're a good egg," that's a real compliment. That means someone thinks very highly of you. It means they think you're very skilled, or you have a good. How do I say this? A good. I don't know. A good approach to life generally. Okay, you're someone. You're someone worthwhile. What about number 3? A couch potato. I think there's probably quite a few couch potatoes in Italy at the moment over these weeks. Martinez, I think Martinez question to be good at heart. I think you mean in relation to a good egg. Uh, yeah, it's not necessarily about you being nice, but it's more about you as a whole, you as a person. So maybe you're very sort of successful and have very good qualities as a person. Okay, I hope that helped. I think all of you guys have got a couch potato. Yeah, exactly. Oh, Roberta, perfect. Yeah. Slouching, that's a great word. What does that mean? To slouch. It's a verb. Does anyone know? So slouch can mean it's to do with your posture. And so if this is obviously sitting up straight, and then if you slouch, you're like leaning back like this. All right.
Mm.
So yeah,
I'm
a
a bit
couch potato.
slouched at the moment.
Yeah, I think I'm a little bit too as
If
well,
I'm up
maybe.
straight, I'm too tall, so slouch.
Okay, next one, crying over spilt milk. Do you guys use this in Italian? I'm curious as to whether it's also an Italian phrase. I thought maybe it is. Um, it is an Italian phrase. Okay, so you guys know what it means? Yes, everyone's telling me yes. What does it mean? Okay, it's the same. So yeah, okay. So it's obviously to get upset over something little, something that doesn't matter, to become very upset about. Okay, number 5, we know her cup of tea. Number 6, many people were egged on. What does that mean, to egg on? I think that's a bit of a hard one, maybe.
Hmm.
It's not used very often. It's only in very specific situations, I think, that you'd use it.
Yeah, it's one that's hard to understand the connection of eggs to the meaning, certainly.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
you never know.
Right. Okay, maybe we should explain. So, if you egg on someone, it's when you encourage someone
Hmm.
to do something, but usually something that isn't good. Usually something that's not advisable. So, if two people are having a fight, like with their fists, and their friends are behind them saying, "Go on," they're encouraging them. They are egging them on.
Hmm.
Is that how you understand it, Sean?
Yeah, definitely a kind of aggressive encouragement, definitely for a negative action, I think,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. So it's Clara said to push. It's not a physical thing. It's a verbal encouragement. Um, so maybe to push someone with words to encourage them to do something. I think there was one that we isn't on this slide. To spill the beans. And I think one of the girls got that correct. It was to reveal a secret. I think further back, one of the girls got it right. Okay.
You know, I don't say spill the beans. I say to spill the tea.
Really?
The
Is that an Irish
For
thing?
me, no, it's a kind of a I don't know, it's kind of my generation. We picked it up from
Oh,
television.
oh,
Spill
I've
the
never heard
tea, the
that.
gossip. Yeah. I wouldn't say beans, I say tea now.
Okay. And here are the definitions, which you guys got correct anyway. Okay. So a bad egg. Okay, yeah, a bad person. A bad person in general. Okay. So yeah, to egg on, to urge someone on, but in a negative, sort of a negative situation. Sort of something that isn't advisable. Mhm. Okay. Should we go on?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Here are some questions. So, number one, who or what is the apple of your eye and why? All right, guys, let us know if there is someone or something that's the apple of your eye. And in the meantime, Sean, do you have anyone?
No, I really don't. No, I wouldn't, because to me it's a kind of it could be romantic, but it also could be maybe a parent to their child. And certainly I don't have that kind of relationship at the moment.
Yeah, I
What
think
about
it's
you?
yeah, I think it's usually about someone who's younger than you, so like a child or a
Yeah.
grandchild or a niece or a nephew. Yeah, I have a baby, so I should say that he's the apple of my eye. But to be honest, I've never thought of it like that. So, but yes, I'd
No.
have to say that he is. Anyone else? We've got some answers. Daniela, her daughter. Yeah, that makes sense.
Mhm.
Uh, um, Okay, the next one. Have you ever known a bad egg? We've already spoken about this. Um, I like Valentina's answer.
Doesn't talk about coronavirus.
Uh,
Niece and nephew. Sure, it's a lot of pets. Yeah,
yeah,
pets.
that's true. I guess a lot of people's pets would be the apple of their eye. Um,
Mm.
Valentina, I take it you're tired of talking about coronavirus then, or tired of thinking about it. I don't think you're alone. I think lots of people want to discuss other
Yeah.
things, right? Okay, what about number two, guys? Have you ever known a bad egg, a bad person? So Sean and I say, not really. No, I can't say.
It's a very negative thing to say about someone, I would say, a
Yeah,
very strong kind of idiom. So for me, no.
yeah, yeah. You'd have to be careful before saying this, and you certainly don't say it to the person. You wouldn't say that. You say it maybe if you're talking about them to someone else. Number three, in the meantime, are you a couch potato or do you know a couch potato, Sean?
I am 100% a couch potato. Always have been. It's something.
Okay.
It's certainly something that my parents said of me very often in a negative way. But it's the way I am. I like to sit down. I like to relax. I don't think it's necessarily so negative.
Anyone else? Does anyone else know a couch potato? Or are you a couch potato? I think there's lots at the moment in the country. I think there's lots of Netflix and Amazon Prime and Sky being consumed, as well as food delivery. Yeah, Adriana has a good reply.
Hmm.
I live in my bed. Yep.
Are
Don't
you
think
a
you're
couch potato, Danielle? Even
alone.
with the quarantine, are you getting out of bed and doing things?
Yeah, I'm definitely not a couch potato. I never have been. I'm not a homebody. I don't know
No.
if you guys have heard that expression before, a homebody. It
Mm.
means someone who enjoys being at home. So I prefer to be out doing things and not at home. So it's quite difficult for me. Okay. Okay, we've got some good answers coming in. Yeah, Valentina, we have to be a couch potato at the moment, but it's not anyone's fault. Gianpaolo's in his comfort zone. Yeah, in your comfort zone in your apartment. Okay. Do you cry over spilt milk, or do you just forget a problem once it happens? Interesting over spilt milk, being crying over something, yes, that's in the past, but also something small. But maybe that's not how everyone else thinks about it. Maybe it can be big things as well. Um, how do you consider it, Sean, to cry over spilt milk?
I think it might be something that I have said to people if I feel they're overreacting because certainly if a problem is small, I think it's not worth the stress, the upset. For me, sometimes it's better to just move on, ignore the problem. Of course, if it's important, you have to. But if it's spilled milk, if it's a small problem for me, you have to get over it.
Yeah, there's no point complaining or thinking more about it too much. It's your cup. Anything in general, guys? Actually, something important. This is used in a negative. So you don't usually say, "Oh, this is my cup of tea." You don't really say that. You say something is not my cup of tea. Okay. Um, so what's not your cup of tea, Sean? Anything in particular?
Um, well, there's many things. Certainly, I'm very bad at any kind of maths or rational thinking like that. In school, I was very bad at it, and it's not my cup of tea. It's not what I'm comfortable doing. It's not what I'm good at.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, what's not my cup of tea? Okay, so ironically, cooking lots. So
Oh,
I love to go out and eat out, and obviously I like nice food. But to spend all day in the kitchen cooking something, it's not my cup of tea. I'd rather do other things.
mm, mm,
Hi Giuseppe, got Giuseppe that's joined us.
mm.
Um,
Yeah, I
okay.
think it's not my cup of tea. You're saying that it's not for me. It's important. It's not. You're saying it's a bad thing or negative. It's just saying that it doesn't suit me.
Yeah.
I think that's implied in the meaning. It's not negative, really.
Okay. And the final one. Oh yeah, Roberta, perfect. That's a good answer. Yeah.
Mm,
Me too. I don't like horror films.
mm. Same for me.
And the last one, have you ever egged someone on unnecessarily? Don't think I have.
I think I have.
Yeah? Okay.
I think certainly in situations where maybe I don't know, I'm a bit bored and two of my friends are having a silly fight. In a way, it's entertaining, you know. It's not I mean, never something serious, but for a small thing, sometimes I can egg people on.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay, guys. All right. So here we've got some more expressions. Okay. See if you can understand their meaning from their context. So from the broader sort of from the other surrounding words. Okay, so number one, you need to take everything he says with a pinch of salt. He's prone to exaggeration. Sean, do you want to read the second? Maybe we can alternate.
Recently, he has been working very hard trying to bring home the bacon. He has no time to do anything else.
Mm. My sister has a half-baked idea of starting up her own business, but personally, I think it will fail.
Everything has been handed to him on a silver platter, and now he is completely spoilt.
My lawyer is very serious. He's a tough nut to crack.
My colleague spends too much time buttering up our boss. He badly wants a promotion.
There are, so obviously we have the underlined phrases, expressions, but there's also some other interesting words in here. And I'm not too sure if they're all clear. So maybe prone to, all right? Prone to in number one at the end. So if you're prone to something, it means you're likely to do something, okay? Means you have a tendency to do something that's quite common for you. Can you see any other words, Sean, that maybe we should explain?
I think spoilt in number 4. Spoilt we use either for food or for a person. For food, it's when it goes bad, it goes rotten, you can't eat it anymore. And I think you can guess maybe that and what it means with a person.
Mm-hmm. And platter, maybe platter, because that's not actually that common. So again, in number 4, the last word of the expression platter, it's a like a dish,
Mm.
right? It's a dish, so it's usually a circle that you serve things on, all right? Okay, all right, guys. Let's. I think the answers. Here we go. So, what do you think they mean? To take with a pinch of salt. Does anyone know? You need to take what he says with a pinch of salt. This is quite common.
Definitely.
I think this is definitely one of the most common things that you hear.
Mm.
And we use it written and we use it in speaking as well. No, don't have anything coming in. Okay. Ah, Valentina. Okay, that's interesting.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Would you say it's a liar?
Um,
Mm.
no, it's not. It's not a liar, and it's not about a lie. Yeah, I think Gianpaolo. I think that's the best answer.
Hmm.
Now let me see. I'm hoping all the answers don't come up at once. Yes. To accept or believe only part of something. So when
Exactly.
someone says something and you know sometimes they misunderstand things or maybe they exaggerate. So you take it with a pinch of salt. All
Mm.
right. And you know what a pinch is? I don't know if you know what a pinch is. So a pinch can be a verb and a noun. If you pinch someone, it's when you have your fingers and you go like that. So for example, babies sometimes pinch people. And also older people, like they pinch your chin, right? They pinch children's chin, that's that. But a pinch in this sense means a very small amount. Number 2, to bring home the bacon. This is, I wouldn't say this. I don't know many people that would say this.
I think maybe that one is quite American.
Yeah, I think so as well. It has bacon in it, so, like standard American fare. Mm. Ah, well done, Valentina. Yeah,
Mm. Exactly.
yeah, perfect. Half-baked. I think this is common. People definitely say this and use this still.
Mm.
Oh,
Interesting. Bread, okay.
Is that for number 2, Gianpaolo, I imagine, to bring home the bread? I
Mm.
presume that's what it means. So half-baked. To bring home the bread. Okay, that's good. We learnt something as well. So half-baked. This is a good one to remember.
Mary has a suggestion, which no. It's definitely something which is not completely, but not about finished or being done.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay. Something that maybe hasn't been done well. Okay.
Mm,
Something that's not thought out properly. So yeah, you often talk about a half-baked idea.
yeah.
Right. So someone wants to do something, they want to start a new business, but they haven't prepared enough. Um, sorry to talk about the coronavirus, Valentina, but I don't know if any of you saw the UK government's response to coronavirus. They're doing something very different to every other country. The schools are still open. They're not taking any measures, basically,
Mm,
and they think they have a reason for doing it. But many people believe this is a half-baked idea. Okay, they haven't thought it through properly.
mhm.
Number 4, to hand someone something on a platter. If you hand someone something on a silver platter, sorry. No, this might be a difficult one or a strange one.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, we should do it. Okay. To give someone something they haven't earned or something that they don't deserve. So, for example, it's often used in the sense of someone who's relatively young and maybe they're part of a very wealthy family and they don't have to work. They never had to work. They never had to do anything, but they have an amazing life. So, in that sense, they have had everything handed to them on a silver platter.
Mm.
The next one, number 5, a tough nut. Yeah, Adriana, to get things easily. Yeah, a few of you have said that. Yeah, it is about to get something easily, but it's when you have not done anything to get it,
Mm.
right? So you don't really deserve it. A tough nut to crack. This can mean a few different things, I think. I think
Mm.
it's not necessarily clear. Okay, someone or something difficult to understand. Um, or
Stubborn?
that's a good
It
guess.
could be, no?
Yeah, I guess it could. A stubborn person, they can be a tough nut to crack, but they don't mean the same thing exactly. So a tough nut to crack is more general, but maybe you know a difficult person and you don't understand why they do things a certain way. Um, yeah, I like
Mm.
Elisa's remark. Yeah, a difficult situation to solve.
Would
Mhm.
you use it for a situation? For me, it's for people, no?
I think I would use it for a situation as well. Yeah,
Okay.
I'd use it for both. But yeah, maybe it's more common for a person.
Mm.
Okay, and then to butter up. If you butter someone up, this is a bit old-fashioned. Maybe I wouldn't say this. I doubt you would say this, Sean.
No, one I would say to do with butter is butter wouldn't melt. Do you know that
Ah,
one? Yeah,
yeah.
butter wouldn't
So
melt.
what does that one mean? you want to share it with us?
Yeah, the full idiom is butter wouldn't melt in your mouth, in his mouth, in her mouth. It's been shortened to butter wouldn't melt. It means that somebody who is not innocent behaves in a very innocent way. So, you know, they think they're above suspicion,
Mhm.
usually.
Okay, to butter up. I think Clara's written to convince. That is related. That might be part of it, but it's not the main. It's not the core of the expression. Okay, to butter someone up is to flatter someone, to try to get their friendship or their favor. It can be. It's not just about flattering someone, but also just making them very happy and comfortable to get them to do something for you. It's often used in a work context. That's how I think about it. So if you want something from the boss and you create a situation, you're very nice to them, you do everything that they want so that in return you get what you want. Mm-hmm. You butter them up. All right, guys, let's keep going. Okay. Let's go through these, and guys, let us know your answers to them, to the questions. We want to know a bit more about what you're thinking. So, number one, do you have any friends whose words you must always take with a pinch of salt? Sean, do you know anyone like this?
I mean, it's not totally negative, as we said before. It just means you don't 100% trust what they say. They're not a liar necessarily. They just like to exaggerate.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Or or they misunderstand things. That's how I
Mm.
often think about it. So someone who I can think of uh, someone who believes everything she reads. So she reads
Okay.
something in a terrible newspaper, and she will go and tell everyone it because she believes it.
Yeah.
And I think, it's not quite true.
Yeah, another one for that is I would say she always has the wrong end of the stick.
Yeah, that's a
She,
good one.
she always has the wrong idea of a story.
Yeah. What about you guys? Do you know anyone? That's a good one. To have the wrong end of the stick. Yeah. To misunderstand something. Okay. What about another one of these good questions? Number three, has anything ever been handed to you on a silver platter? Sean, have you ever had that?
I mean, it was certainly something that my parents often said to me if they felt I was being lazy. They said, "Oh, everything is handed to you on a silver platter. We had to walk to school and this and that." But in my opinion, I have worked mostly for what I have, so
Yeah.
no.
Okay, guys, let us know your answers to any of these questions. Let's look at number five. Can you think of an acquaintance who is a tough nut to crack? What does acquaintance mean? Does anyone
An
know?
acquaintance is someone who is someone you know, not your friend. So someone you talk to, someone you see, but they're not a friend, like someone in the office or a neighbor, usually an acquaintance.
Yeah, exactly. Do you have an acquaintance that's a tough nut to crack? Someone difficult to understand?
It's something people have said about me actually sometimes because I can be quite reserved. How about you? Do you have any acquaintances who are tough nuts?
I've had some friends in the past who are tough nuts to crack. So we were friends, but sometimes they would do or say things which I did not expect. Not very, very close friends, obviously.
Yeah,
So I've definitely had that. But
okay.
also, my landlord, who owns my apartment, lives above lives above me, and she's nice. but sometimes she says or does things and that I don't understand. So I think she is a tough nut to crack.
Yeah.
I have to be very careful with her. All right, guys,
Yeah,
we're
it's
coming
not
to
a great person to be a tough
no.
nut.
All right, guys, we've come to the end of our 50 minutes. So I hope you've learned some new expressions and maybe picked up some different type of vocab along the way. So we've obviously got apple of someone's eye, to be a bad egg. That's a good example. It's a good one to use. Couch potato, to not be your cup of tea. We've also got a pinch of salt, to take something with a pinch of salt. Half baked, number 3. That's a great example. There's definitely one. If you're going to use one, I would maybe use that one. To butter someone up and to be a tough nut to crack. So well done, guys. Thanks so much for your participation, and enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll see you next time. See you guys.
Bye bye.